going to be about religion and spirituality. There are so many religions in this world. Some of them still have spirituality. They all started with spirituality. In fact, before there were religions in this world, 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, when there were no notion about God and going to church and temple, everyone was spiritual. And there were some leaders like Moses and others, and Buddha, and in Patanjali in India, and all over the world, there were leaders who talked about spirituality. Spirituality comes from inside, from the heart. Then they became religions, and then they started having temples and churches and mosques and synagogues, and those are all good. But in the process of religion, all the practices became more important. Just going crackers, having social organizations, those things became religion, more important in religion than the spirituality. So now all over the world, I think it's true, but definitely here in America, there are many Hindus, Buddhists here in America. They feel going to these formal churches is more like a social thing, which is good. Social is good, but it has lost its spirituality. Deep down, we are all yearning, we are all searching for something. We come into this world and we want to find what is our purpose in life. Are we here just to make money, just to have family, just to have children, just to eat good food, just to go on vacation? That is a searching. All of us have that searching deep down. And we try to find it in religion. To some extent, we can get it. But there's a thing called spirituality that is deeper down. And everyone today, at least in America, I'm sure all over the world, are searching for that spiritual thing. And when that is lacking, then all kinds of other problems show up, whether it's COVID, whether it's war, whether it's famine, whether it's all these other things show up in our life. So people are trying to find out what this is all about. Let's be more spiritual. You can still be religious. So there's lots of scientists looking into it now. And in the old days, those people who founded religions, in a way, they were scientists, but they didn't have a lot of instruments. They didn't have stethoscopes and MRIs and X-rays and special hearing equipment. Now, these scientists, they have these equipment and they're using it. So there's one thing called depression. Depression is, a lot of people have it, but they don't know how to, it's no temperature. You don't feel a temperature, you don't get shivering, you don't sneeze. It is just something that in the soul, it shows up in the soul, and people just say, I'm depressed. And people are trying to understand what it is, because depression turns out to be like a gateway disease. If you're depressed, you're open now to other things like cholera, typhoid, COVID, cancer, all these other heart problems. It's like diabetes. If you have diabetes, there's no cure for it, but that causes all these other things: cancer, IBS, heart problems. So depression is like that. So some scientists here, a lot of them are looking into depression. What causes depression? And so they studied the MRI of the brain, because depression is more a mental thing. It's not so much a physical thing. So in the brain, there is different areas. We have an area in the brain for art. We have a brain for science. We have a brain for mathematics. We have a brain for finance. We have a brain for painting. We have a brain for love, certain areas of that. So there's a thing called perception. And the scientists think that perception area is related to depression. So they study it through MRI. And they find that all these people who say they are depressed, most of them, that area is very thin. It's become weak. It's very thin. For some people, it is still strong. And then they study the life of those people where that part of the brain is still strong and growing, and they study the people where it is weak, and they find that those people who say it's weak, where it's weak, they have more depression. The people where that part, they still have challenges that cause depression, but it's broad, and those people are more spiritual. Now, what causes depression? Generally, difficulties. Now, in life, all of us have difficulties. Buddha said, life is dukkha. That means it's unpleasant. You get a car for 1 or 2 months, you're happy, then you have an accident. You have insurance to pay. Someone steals something from your car. You're sad. You get a new dress, it looks nice for a while, then it gets torn or something, you're depressed, you're sad. So life is full of ups and downs. It's not permanent happiness. So there's always chance for difficulty. But some people, unfortunately, they get more difficulty. They have death in the family. They have sickness after the other. They lose their money. They lose their house, one after the other. Lots of things happen back to back, back to back. Those people generally have more challenge living, and those people generally are in this category called depressed. So that's what these people, these scientists have studied, and they find that those people who have these challenges, some of them are really depressed and weak and tired and sad, and they have no energy, and their always head is down. But there are some people, in spite of all of these difficulties, they are still joyful. That is because they have spirituality. So what do we mean by spirituality? These are the people, they said some prayers, whether it's part of their religion or not. Maybe they was part of the religion, but generally it was a little more than that. They did meditation. They had positive affirmations. They said, God is love. I'm strong. My spirit is strong. I will survive. I have love in my heart. That's the things. Then they sang. They did a lot of singing. They did listen to special music. They went for walks, walk in a park, walk in a beach. They stayed by themselves and just had positive thoughts. And another key thing is they did charity. Charity, not just for their family or not just for their small group, the economic group, like one group of, say, Northern Indians, they just support North Indians, or South Indians support. It is for someone outside their group. Like if they belong to one caste, they would help people from outside their caste. Go outside, not just for your own selfish small family group or friends. Outside, they went out of their way to help. Maybe they had a servant who came there, and the servant's child had a problem. They would give them money or attend to that child. They did something over and above their small group. That brought them a lot of satisfaction. That brought them happiness. So doing something outside, something beyond yourself, that brings a sense of spirituality, and that brings happiness, that brings health. So even if you have a lot of depressing factors in your life, you lost your money, lost your partner, that you have sickness, you've lost your finances, in spite of all of that, if you have this practice of spirituality that we talked about, different factors like singing, meditating, prayer, and silence, doing charity for someone else, going out of your way to say something nice, smile at somebody, even if you don't have money to give someone, smile at them, talk to them. That increases our spirit and our sense of purpose. That is what now scientists think is called spirituality. And those people, when they did the MRI study, that part of their brain was thick and strong. It's like doing exercise. When you do exercise, you flex your muscle, you get stronger muscles. The more you exercise, the more your muscle builds. In the same way, if we do spiritual practices, that part of the brain related to depression becomes strong, and you don't get depressed. The factors that cause depression are still there. You lose your money, you lose your husband, lose your wife, get sickness, but you're not depressed. You know that this is a loving the universe. Something good will happen. This difficulty will pass, and something nice will happen in your life. That is what they notice with people who are spiritual. That is a factor of spiritual. Okay. That then they did some study with kids in America. They have a lot of poor kids here, black kids, brown kids, Spanish kids, and they live in poverty. Sometimes they don't even have food. Sometimes one of the parents, the father, usually got caught by the police for something, whether it's legal or illegal. They got caught in jail. So there is a lot of hardship. But the rich people too, they've studied rich kids, and they find that rich kids are more depressed than the poor kids. What is the difference? The rich kids, if the parents say, okay, you're not happy here, I'll buy you a new car. I'll send you on vacation. Go. I'll buy you something nice. But the parents did not show love. They just bought them material things. Whereas the poor people, they didn't have material things to give them. They gave them love. If the mother was around, the grandmother would be around to help them. So that love was shared with these children. So with the poorer people, so you don't need money to be spiritual. You need love. And those children, they notice, they are very sensitive. They know when their parents are actually showing them love, or the parents are just giving them material gifts and saying, go away, here, I'll give you something. So that makes a difference. And that those children brought up that way, when they grow up, they are more resilient. They are able to fight off this issue of depression. So that's the story there. So I want to show you one or two small videos on this issue, because there's a lot of study going on in the area of depression. So I'll share my screen and we'll look at this video here. This is a conference, and there's a guy named Gabor Mate in Canada. He's from Hungary. His parents got killed during the war by the Germans. So he had a lot of difficulty in his life, a lot of sadness, but he was able to overcome that. And he's not a depressed person. He may be sad. So he had a conference, and there are 4 or 5 people in that conference. Let's look at that.
A question, Sharon. I would like to begin with you. Your book, Real Happiness, has been mentioned, and in the introduction, you're very upfront about. So, can you just tell us a little bit about how you experienced trauma and what spiritual work has meant for you in your emergence from your or your liberation from your traumatic impact?
I think I went to India when I was 18 years old, having lived in 5 different family configurations, every one of which shifted because somebody died or took an overdose. I mean, something terrible happened all along the way. And I went to India to learn how to meditate. I'd heard about it in an Asian philosophy course, and I just caught on fire. And I thought, I have to go there. So I think if I was going to describe myself in one word, at the age of 18, it would be fragmented. I
Hmm.
was just kind of all over the place. I had very little sense of inner coherence. I had very little sense of who I was. And even what I was feeling, I mean, I knew I was very unhappy, but I didn't know the dimensions and the texture of all those feelings. And certainly through my meditation practice and my relationship with my teachers and community and things like that, um, I feel like I reclaimed a sense of centeredness or who I was, and I'm certainly a lot happier.
Well, with
Okay, that was Sharon, and I'll give you another thing. She's going to be talking again in this video.
it's about the relationship of religion and spirituality. There are so many people who are not finding spirituality in a broad sense in their religious communities, even though I think all religions, Judaism, certainly Christianity and Islam and all of it, have. Let's come back to mindfulness. So, Sharon, just even tell us what that means.
Well, I think one spiritual perspective could be that we all, as human beings, whatever we've been through, whatever we may yet go through, have within us a capacity, a potential for connection, for clarity, for love, for wisdom, and it's never ever destroyed. It may be, and usually is, quite hidden from view and hard to find and very hard to trust. Actually, I think that's part of the problem, is that so
Mm-hmm.
many of the other messages we receive all the time are contrary to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so many kinds of practices are about two things. One is the return. So we really feel a sense of being at home in that place that is connected, that's aware, and so on. And knowing how to deal with everything else that comes up, the distractions, the dismay, the despair, the sense of estrangement, so that we don't get lost in it. And mindfulness is a set of techniques that I think do both things. It helps us have um, a real sense of discernment about what we're actually experiencing compared to what we may construct around it, like shame, projection into the future. This is all that I'll ever feel. Isolation. I'm the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of be able to let go of some of the burden of those things to be more in touch with what's actually happening and not to get lost in it, because one of the things, I mean, there's so many issues around what we believe and how we behave, but one is to be, terrified of the pain and feeling it makes us wrong or bad. But there are other ways that we get lost where we feel it's selfish or incorrect to experience joy,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. So whatever we are dealing with, mindfulness is a tool to help us come to a more balanced awareness with the joy and the sorrow.
Okay, so there was a big conference and many speakers. These were the four main speakers. They talked about of depression, they talked about sadness, and they talked about spirituality and religion. So one way to be more spiritual is meditation and being alone, walking in the park, having friends, going out of our way to do charity. These things are spiritual things. These things help us. And some of us are lucky we had parents who practiced spirituality and we watched them. We didn't just listen. Our parents didn't say, go be spiritual. They practiced it, so we learned it, we picked it up. But for those of us who did not have that opportunity, we can learn it today. It doesn't matter how old we are. We can learn, we can practice spirituality. We can still belong to a religion, but we can practice spirituality. So different ways. Now, I didn't show you that there was a small clip on meditation. She showed people how to do it, but we'll do it ourselves here. Meditation, where you just sit down by yourself and be at peace and let calm thoughts go through your mind. If you want, you don't have to say your prayers loud, say it silently. You can sing. All of these things are good things to do. Um, and there's what is known as the head and the heart. In religion, most of the religion now is the head. You're thinking, whereas spirituality comes from the heart. You have a problem, you look into your heart and you look to the universe for a guidance, and then you let your mind, the head, tell you what to do. But today it's very opposite. We go first to the head. We have a problem, let's look in the head and let's find a solution. Let's go to a lawyer, let's go to a doctor, let's go to a psychologist, psychiatrist, instead of going peacefully and looking into the heart and looking for the universe, for the God in the universe to come to our heart and give us a solution. That can happen if we are calm, if we meditate, if you go for a long walk in the beach or in a garden or in a quiet place, and just be by ourselves and let the universe come to us. That happens through meditation. So what we're going to do right now, we'll do some more practices almost similar to what Trusha did. We'll do it a little longer. So let's try do some singing, like we do that Amen thing, okay? By Sidney Poitier. All of us will join and we'll sing this song called Amen. It is Aum in India. It started with Aum. In the Middle East, it's Amin. In Rome, it became Amen, and for the Western world, it's Amen. So we'll sing Amen. Okay, I'll do it first, and then we'll sing it 3 times. Everybody, it's a good practice to learn and do it by yourself. Okay, so it goes this way: Amen. 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 Everybody, unmute yourself so we can all hear. Amen. 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 Everybody louder. Amen. 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 One more time, louder. Amen. 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 Now when you very good. So when by yourself, you're sad, you're having a problems, your family is all busy, they have no time for you, you're alone. Just sing this to yourself. It'll make you feel very good. Okay? So I'll give you 1 or 2 examples of people who have had a lot of challenges and difficulties and they lived the spiritual life. You've heard of Nelson Mandela, right? He was, for 28 years, they put him in jail in South Africa. When South Africans got freedom, he got out of jail, but he did not get angry. He didn't go and punish all the white people. He forgave them and they lived in peace. Like that, there's Mother Teresa as another example who practiced spirituality. She was a Catholic, but she went out to Hindus, Muslims, everybody did spiritual work. Gandhi was another example. So if we look outside of ourselves to help somebody else or just show them sympathy, that is a form of spirituality. So what we'll do is we'll do a short meditation, we'll come back and talk a little more, and then we'll do a long meditation. So if you want to just sit down, close your eyes if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. And for about 5 minutes, we'll do just a small sound bath, a small sound meditation. Okay? So take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And feel this sound coming through your body. Now I won't talk, I'll just let you experience it yourself in silence. joy coming into your life. Just feel one with the whole universe. There's love in this universe. You're part of that love. Okay, let's come back and let's talk for a little more about spirituality. And I want to give one more example of a person who had practiced spirituality, Florence Nightingale. You heard about her. There was a war. People were dying. The soldiers were dying. And she would just go to all of them and just give them comfort. So if we do that, we look at somebody else who's having some problem. It doesn't matter what religion they belong to, what caste they are. We just show them. We don't even have to give them money. If we want to give money, that is fine. Give them. We don't have to do that. We just show somebody else outside of ourselves comfort. We get a lot of reward. We know the universe is here to help us. So that gives us, that is a form of spirituality. That's beyond religion. So with that, let's do a little bit of laughter. Laughter is a very good thing to do. All of us we all seniors. We spend a lot of time by ourselves. So laughter is a good thing. When we are young, we laughed a lot. Now we should just laugh. If somebody comes in your room and says, what are you doing? So I thought about something funny when I was young, something funny, and it made me laugh. So I'm laughing. Laughing is good for the lungs. It's good for your throat, good for the thyroid, good for your stomach, good for your digestion. It's a very good thing. So let's do 2 minutes or 3 minutes of just plain laughter. Okay? Let's start. 1, 2, 3. Everybody, I want to hear you. I don't hear you laugh. I don't. Yes, it should come from your stomach. Right? Stomach, deep breath. Take a deep breath and laugh. Really. Something funny. Hear yourself. One more time. The laughter should come from deep down inside your stomach. One more time. Okay, very good. So this practice of singing, just chanting. Chanting is a good thing. Laughter is a good thing. So now let's do a long 10, 15-minute sound bath. Okay? If there is time, we can sing that song that we did last year, Sabika Mangale. If not, we'll just do this sound healing for another 10, 15 minutes. Okay? So take a deep breath and think of something you want to happen in your life, some forgiveness. Somebody bothered you, somebody when you were young said something rude to you, forgive them. They did not mean to hurt you. Maybe they were in their own problem. So forgive everybody. You'll feel good inside your heart. Okay? Take a deep breath and just listen to this sound. You're not thinking of anything. The sound is a pure sound. It comes into your cells and brings balance to your cells. It brings balance to your organs. Okay? So I'll try not to talk too much. You just be in your own, feel the vibrations going and bringing peace to your body. Any part of your body that is not in harmony, these sound waves will gradually bring it into harmony. So deep breath, about 5 or 6 seconds inhale, about 6 or 7 seconds outhale, out breath, slowly. Of the five senses, the first sense that develops when we are in our mother's womb is a sense of hearing. And the last thing to go when we are moving on is our hearing. So sound is a very important part of our life. Okay, with that, we will bring this meditation to a close. You may want to open your eyes gradually, slowly, warm, light. Move your fingers, your toes, and come back to normal breathing. Someone asked me to show the bowls, so I've put the camera of the computer on the bowls. So these, I've got 5 metal bowls. I'm striking the biggest bowl here. These 2 bowls at the back, they have multiple notes. And these 3 here in front, this is C, D, and E, single notes. This is for the 3rd chakra, A. And this bowl here, this is crystal. The others are metal, so it gives this type of a sound. And sometimes I put a chime. So that was our session today. And with that, if someone has any questions or want to make any statement or say something, please share your thoughts with everyone else.
Please unmute yourself.